Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the competitive platform for Pokemon for some time now, will be coming to a conclusion with the platform for competitive VGC, Pokemon Champions. This brings with it a return to one of the most controversial and ambiguous regulations in terms of feeling towards how the so-called metagame functions. From April 1st until Champions comes out, the Regulation I will become the competitive rule set officially, which features a maximum of 2 restricted Pokemon per player's team. I entered the Prague Regional Championships with an aim to potentially achieve a good finish and demonstrate that the big fish could still dominate the pond of restricted legendaries at our disposal, and try to gain a late qualification for the Pokemon World Championships in San Francisco. Regulation I allows for the aforementioned 2 restricted Pokemon per team. This allows for players to create either potent offensive duos like Calyrex Shadow Rider and Miraidon, or Koraidon and Calyrex Ice Rider, or teams with an excellent defensive partner like Zamazenta or Lunala, to complement the team's offensive capabilities through supporting moves such as Wide Guard or speed control means such as Tailwind or Trick Room. The team that I'll be bringing to the Prague Regional Championships needs to be mastered and understood to a point where I have multiple ways of handling certain matchups in terms of what Pokemon I lead, what my opponent wants to do when I lead incorrectly, and adjustments which can make me handle certain offensive pressures or defensive positions my opponent may opt for. Hello everyone, welcome back to this middle part of the video where I'm going to just be discussing the team that I'll be bringing to the Prague Regional Championships very quickly. And we'll start with the rules of Regulation I, which are 2 restricted Pokemon. Now the 2 restricted Pokemon I've chosen are Kyogre and Calyrex Ice Rider. There's obviously a lot of other options which we'll go into in a minute, but I think we'll just start with Kyogre mainly, right? So most Kyogre sets either run something like the Assault Vest, or they might run something like where is it? Mystic Water, just to boost the triple water type attacks. But I've opted for Life Orb. Life Orb's going to boost it's 10% more damage than Mystic Water, but at the cost of losing 10% of its HP after each attack. Now, with things like Rillaboom's grassy terrain, which is going to heal a little bit of damage after each attack, it's basically nullifying it, I feel like, and it's still giving mass damage output. Hydro Pump as a single target move, because there's a lot of spread moves, and therefore you've got things like Lunala and Zamazenta with Wide Guard to protect. So you give him a little bit of a mind game, but at the cost of being 80% accurate. So I've trained my Kyogre actually to get either into sort of 10% range or Oko Zamazentas, who don't Terra, which is obviously great. And then you've got the main move is Water Spout, so 150 base power move, and it's similar to Eruption, where as the HP decreases, it's going to be doing less damage. So it's good to get maybe a Thunder Wave or a Fake Out off, and then go for a Water Spout at the beginning of the game. And then Origin Pulse is basically a pseudo Water Spout, and that's got less accuracy, less power, but is obviously not reliant upon it surviving with a lot of HP, which is good when you've got things like Life Orb as well. And then you've got Drizzle, so this is obviously going to summon rains. This gives us rain control against things like Groudon and Koraidon, which are very prevalent in the format at the moment. In fact, if we go over to Limitless here, we can see Orlando Regionals, and there's the Koraidon there, but I mean you haven't really got too many Koraidon, but it is it obviously won the World Championships with this sort of similar archetype here, but yeah, Drizzle extremely good, and it also weakens fire type attacks, which into our team with Pokemon such as Rillaboom and Calyrex Ice is extremely good. To protect Terra Grass, really just to stop Spore, stop things from getting redirected with like a Moongus, for example, and obviously weakening Miraidon's electric type moves into Kyogre, which is the big weakness. So something that hopefully will catch some people with surprise is the amount of special bulk, because most run either Timid and max speed to get Water Spouts off in Tailwind, but I've opted for a little less special attack with obviously using the Life Orb, more HP and more special defense to survive. So this will survive 3 Astral Barrages, and even like a +1 Iron Defense Zamazenta. And then a lack of speed, but crucially 1 point above Caloric Shadow when I've used a Thunder Wave with some like a Grimmsnarl. So if you can get a Thunder Wave onto like a Caloric Shadow and then go for a Water Spout, you're looking good. And I've obviously given it Modest Nature just to boost that special attack even further. So I'll move on here to Calyrex Ice Rider. So like I say, if we look at his stats really quickly, it's very bulky, but it's also got a really good attack stat, which is why I've not invested too much into it, especially with its ability Chilling Nye, which is going to boost its attack by 1 stage at the end of every knockout I take with it. So I've given it max HP and a lot in its defensive bulk. So with Terra Fairy, it's going to be surviving things like Caloric Shadow and Koraidon and things like that. But also with the leftovers and Leech Seed, you can drain things like Lunala and Zamazenta, which are obviously using Wide Guard. And with Terra Fairy, it completely walls things like Zamazenta and even things like Lunala, to be fair. And then you've also got speed control options with Trick Room. It's a very good Trick Room setter, excuse me. And it's good with our team because Kyogre is obviously a slower variant. And then I've given it the Relaxed Nature, which is going to boost its defense and lower its speed even more, making us faster in Trick Room. And then if we move on, I guess we can move on. I mean, it's pretty best to mention this is a better sort of offensive typing because there's a lot of weaknesses. But Terra Fairy is another reason why we use that to counter that. Okay, I think we'll move to Urshifu Rapid Strike. Now, Urshifu Rapid Strike is very good, especially in the rain with Surging Strikes. But with the Choice Scarf, it makes it one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. In fact, it outspeeds Caloric Shadow Rider. And there's a combo that I've been going with recently is swap in Kyogre turn 1 and go for a Surging Strikes into a Calyrex, and it guarantees an OHKO on it, even with an Intimidate drop. Because of obviously the critical hit of Surging Strikes. So yeah, Jolly, max speed. Obviously with a Choice Scarf thing, you want potentially like... Obviously you want an all attacking move, but I've given it U-turn just to pivot out at times. And potentially bait moves going into it. And then obviously Surging Strikes are just a great signature move, and then you got Close Combat, which is great for things like Terapagos, and then Aqua Jet, just nice priority to stop things like Thunderclap and Sucker Punch, especially when we're Terra Ghost. In fact, I've done a few things where I've gone like Terra Ghost, stop Extreme Speed from Dragonite, and then Close Combat into a Terra Normal, which is going to guarantee an OHKO. And obviously that Unseen Fist ability, which is crucial, so you want to probably keep him in the back at times, but you can lead with Urshifu too. So yeah, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, I went with Terra Ghost to stop things like Fake Out, Facade, but I mean, probably you could probably go with Terra Water, but I feel like with Drain, you're doing enough damage anyways. I guess we can move on here to Rillaboom. So Rillaboom is a very crucial part of our team, and you've got the Assault Vest. It's going to boost its special defense, and it is mainly there with its ability Grassy Surge, sorry, which summons a Grassy Terrain, and that is to obviously counter not only Psychic Terrain, but obviously Hadron Engine from Miraidon, which sets up the Electric Terrain. And I've obviously given it Terra Fire, which is again another resistance to Miraidon, but also to Koraidon and things like that with Flare Blitz, which is good. And then obviously standard moveset really, Fake Out, Pressure with U-turn, pivoting, priority Grassy Glide on terrain, and then obviously just nice stab Wood Hammer, which is doing great damage into the more frail things in the format. Max Speed Jolly means it's the fastest Fake Out user in the format, ahead of Incineroar, although you probably might lose a lot of speed ties with it. And it's got a decent investment in its attack, because it's already fairly high anyways. And it's mainly there for like pivoting and things like that to bring into U-turn, obviously being extremely useful for that. And I think we'll move on now to Grimmsnarl. So Grimmsnarl is fairly standard. I did try a lot of things like, tried Covert Cloak on it. I tried I tried like the Eject Pact as well. Like, so when it gets hit, it does that. Because with the Prankster ability, all of our status moves are going first. You don't really want him within the battle, just sitting there doing nothing. But yeah, this is obviously brilliant. He's really good for speed control, and then obviously setting up screens to stop potential OCO, especially like things like Chien-Pao Icicle Crash into Raging Bolt, Electro Drift, Astral Barrage, things like that. And Light Clay is obviously going to extend that. Terra Ghost to stop Fake Out. Probably could give it Terra Grass, but I didn't in the end. And then obviously Spirit Break, obviously lowering special attack, because there's a lot of special attackers in the format. And just doing some nice damage with Fairy coverage. And then we'll move over to its defense. It's a very standard move set, but I've actually given it less, I believe might have been HP, and I've given it extra 4 points in its attack stat. Now what this is going to do is, it's actually going to OCO Koraidon with like Life Orb, Frail Koraidon with no like defensive investment. And that could surprise a few people as well, which is good. Careful Nature boosting that special defense. And I think I'll move on to our final team member. Although it is probably worth to note actually that I ended up using an experiment with Incineroar as well. Safety Goggles Incineroar with Fake Out, Helping Hand Knockoff, and Parting Shot. I probably could bring it, but I feel like this offers quite a lot. I also use Thunderous as well with similar moves, Taunt, Thunder Wave, Prankster, Rain Dance, but that didn't really I feel like this gives us a little bit more value, especially offensively, than Thunderous. And then I also went with things like Amoongus. I went with Smeargle with Wide Guard, and I also went with Ogerpon Wellspring with Follow Me to redirect. But I actually didn't opt for any redirection with this team. So yeah, we'll see how it does. But yeah, Raging Bolt next was something I really wanted to get into the team, but I couldn't. But in the end I did. With a bit of a unique move set. So I've given it max attack, max special attack with the booster energy, modest, so really good offensive special attacking pressure. And I've given it again enough speed to outspeed Calyrex Shadow by a single point after a Thunder Wave, which is obviously good. And it's obviously given us Dragon coverage, a nice switch in for things like Miraidon as well. And it can survive Icicle Crash with this EV spread on like 1 HP. And I've given it obviously Thunderclap for priority. Dragon Pulse I wanted over Draco Meteor because we just have a lot of moves that can miss, especially on Kyogre. And Protect. And then I've given it a unique Terra Steel Terra Blast. Now, many people give it like Thunderbolt or Terra Electric, but with Terra Steel, it's giving us key resistances to Calyrex Ice Riders, Glacial Lance. It's giving us resistance to well, it's not giving us against Groudon, it just makes us worse, and Koraidon, but you just wouldn't really bring it to a matchup like that anyways. But Terra Steel is also mainly from the Miraidon and the Calyrex Ice, because you've got Terra Fairy Miraidon. You can go Terra Steel, resist its electric type moves, and even Dragon type moves to an extent, and potentially get an OCO with Terra Steel. And it also even if Calyrex Terra's the Fairy, it's still doing super effective damage. So yeah, Raging Bolt is extremely good here. The defensive stats, this obviously helps us survive Chien-Pao, but these special defense I sort of just bunged on in the end, to be honest with you. But yeah, ultimately that is a team. If we go over though quickly to actually no, it's fine. Yeah, that's the team that I'll be bringing to the Prague Regional Championships. So yeah, hope you guys can stay to the end of this video and watch it. Hello everyone, welcome along to the second part of this video where I'm actually discussing how the tournament went. So as you can see, 558 players, so not a lot, but a decent amount for a VGC competition. Louis Fontaineville did win the tournament. It was actually a really good final, actually. And it just shows, I mean, we can look at here. I mean, we'll go into my results shortly, but we can look at his team quickly. He does have that same Calyrex Ice, but yeah, really solid team with the Incineroar and the double fake out pressure. Yeah, really good team there. We have a look at, yeah, I mean, if we go to this top cut here, yeah, it's mainly Calyrex Shadow Rider, and I think that really was the story of my tournament as well. But yeah. Let's, I'll move over to me. So I actually did get the top 256. I got a few championship points and prize packs and things like that. But yeah, let's have a look at the team. So on the basis there, I did get a 4-4 record. I feel like I could have done a lot better, but yeah, I think we'll probably go over the team first, right? And then we can jump into the matchups. So yeah, I did bring, so I bought Urshifu Rapid Strike. So actually, no, should I start? No, I'll start with the restricted Pokemon. So, I brought Calyrex Ice Rider and Kyogre, which had a decent amount of usage on day 1, but it plummeted really on day 2. But yeah, Calyrex Ice Rider with Leftovers, Terra Fairy. I mean, I've probably gone through it in this video anyway, so I'll just go through it really quickly. Glacial Lance, Leechy, Trick Room, Protect, Leftovers. Ice Rider Calyrex was extremely good for me this tournament. It clutched so many games. In fact, we'll probably go through it in a second. I'll show you how it did. But yeah, Kyogre. Interesting going with the Life Orb, the triple water type attacks. Now, Kyogre, unfortunately, just wasn't very good. It missed probably over 50% of its attacks. I mean, I guess that's probably expected, but yeah, it wasn't great. I also bought, obviously, Urshifu Rapid Strike with the Choice Scarf. Probably, if I had to rank 1 to 6 the best Pokemon that I brought, it would probably be Urshifu. But yeah. And then I'll probably go with, obviously, Rillaboom next. Assault Vest Rillaboom was excellent. Just offered a lot of pressure with Grassy Glide and Fake Out. Grimmsnarl wasn't the best. I feel like I probably should have brought Incineroar in the end with the safety goggles, but he was okay in a few matchups. But overall, he wasn't too good. I think Terra Grass would have been good for Grimmsnarl instead of Ghost. But I feel like the screens did help me a little bit. And obviously Raging Bolt with that Terra Blast still actually was quite good at times. He wasn't probably, yeah, I'd probably say he's probably like 4, 5 or 6 best. Definitely not the top 3, but at times that little niche did come in handy. So probably move over to not the team list. I'll move over to my results. So if I go back here, here we go. So I'll discuss each round here. So this round 1 opponent here had obviously Zamazenta. He had the Zamazenta Calyrex Shadow Rider Core, which won the Orlando Regionals and obviously got second here. And it was pretty good. I mean, I started this round, I won this game 2-1, and it didn't start very well. He led with, I believe, I've got my notes here. He led with Incineroar and Heartflame Ogerpon, and it was just he had Grassy Glide on his Heartflame mask, and it just ran through my whole team with Rillaboom. So it wasn't a great start, but I was like, I didn't play well at all. I could have probably done a little bit better, but yeah, Heartflame Mask Ogerpon, which actually was present throughout this whole set, just probably because of that first game. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to switch it up. So this is probably quite bold, but game 2, sorry, I went for an Urshifu lead with, I believe, Grimmsnarl. He led with Calyrex and Rillaboom. So I think I expended my Terra, but I went Terra Ghost to stop Fake Out. And then I brought Kyogre in for Grimmsnarl, and then I OHKO'd his Calyrex Shadow on turn 1. And he had no Zamazenta in the back, so no restricted. I had both my restricted Pokemon throughout this. Again, he had the Grassy Glide pressure still. But ultimately, I won that game quite easily after knocking out Caloric Shadow. And then in game 3, we went to obviously it was difficult because he was a good opponent. I know obviously his record's 4-4 as well, but yeah, he was good. And then I played with, I think I had Kyogre. If I led Kyogre the next game, and I actually survived Life Orb, Caloric Shadow plus 2 Astral Barrage, like fairly comfortably in the end. Oh no, it wasn't. Oh, it was actually the same leads from the first game actually. But in the end, I made a few good reads, and I ultimately won that. I think it was my Caloric Shadow Rider 2v1 against Rillaboom and Zamazenta in the end. And he didn't even go for like wide guard pressure because Rillaboom couldn't really do any damage, and ultimately I just went for a Glacial Lance, and I think that won us the game. So yeah, good start to the tournament, and I think we went to like table 68, right? And I played against Oliver Escalin, a very good player. I mean, you can see he got a 9-3 record, and his team just it was really good. I mean, I'm trying to find the notes here for it. I don't think I wrote many because I didn't play very well. I think I could have played a lot better. I think I even said that to him after the round. But hold on, let me find my notes for this, because this was a good game. I think I did lose, unfortunately, 2-0. But yeah, let's have a look. Round 2 Swiss. Here we go. So yeah, he led with Miraidon and Caloric Shadow, which was obviously, like I said, this is probably one of the best offensive duos, and especially with double fake out pressure and that Clefairy. In fact, he didn't even bring the Clefairy game 1, which I thought he did, but I started this game very well. So I didn't lead with anything really applying too much pressure. In fact, I think I had Caloric's Eye, so I think I went for like a Protect. But I read that he would go for Nasty Plot, which I did. I got right, so I doubled that slot, and I also read a Protect on the Shadow Rider, so I doubled in the other side. So I started quite well, but ultimately Incineroar was Intimidate, and I also lost 3 speed ties in this set because we both had max speed Jolly Rillaboom. It probably wouldn't have changed the whole court. I mean, I probably could have won a game due to it, but yeah, it is what it is, really. Round 3, sorry, it wasn't great. I mean, this guy again, 9-3 record, obviously decent, but I just couldn't get past this Lunala. I mean, let's actually click on Lunala quickly. We can go onto his team actually. Covert Cloak Lunala was just excellent. He was just this Moongeist Beam. He was just applying so much pressure with. I think he led with Incineroar and Lunala. He didn't even use Flutter Mane throughout. Koraidon was obviously good, but Amoonguss, I probably should have used him on my own team because Regenerator, Terra Water. I think he used Terra Water in the second set. It was just it was too good. My team really just couldn't do any damage to it. And things like Kyogre just have to, they're forced to Terra in front of it, and then that leaves room for Koraidon. I think I did get a double Protect actually in this game, but it didn't actually matter in the end. But yeah, he just went for the same lead game 1 and 2, which I did adjust for, but ultimately yeah, his defensive core was just too good, I think. And then we'll go on to game number 4 here. So this guy's team was quite good. I did win this game 2-0, but it was actually a very interesting team and a very close second game. So if I can get I don't have the notes for this game, but I think I won the first game like relatively comfortably. I think I led with Urshifu and Rillaboom, I think, and I went for the same strategy, going for Surging Strikes into the Flutter Mane to knock it out, because I thought it'd probably go for Terra Ghost on the Chi-Yu. So I think it did after that, but yeah, it didn't for this. And I also wrote down that Chi-Yu's Choice Scarf was actually slower than my Urshifu, which is great to know. And I just cleaned up the game really from there. And then game 2 was a lot more tighter. He made some really good adjustments, bringing back Indeedee, And in the end, I won because it was on psychic terrain. Because I think he knocked out my Rillaboom. He had Chi-Yu, everything on very low HP in the back, but he sacrificed his Chi-Yu to get the psychic terrain down. And it was Indeedee versus Indeedee and Lunala against my Calyrex Ice, Terra Fairy, full HP, and he went for Helping Hand on the psychic terrain, expanding force, and I survived on 8 HP, and then my Glacial Lance cleared both of them up. Because I think I might have been like +2 attack at that rate. But yeah, it's a very, very close second game, and I ended up getting that win for 2-0. And then our next, I won our round 5 game. Now round 5, I mean, I know his record is 2-6, but this is probably my favourite game to be a part of the tournament. This is a great game. So if we go over to his team actually quickly, yeah, another sort of Calyrex Shadow with the Koraidon team, but this was very, very clutch. So first game, I led with, I believe, what did I lead with? I can't remember. Terra against Grim. I think, he did go Terra. I started very badly because he went Terra Dark on the Calyrex, and I went for a Thunder Wave with Prankster Grimmsnarl obviously doing nothing. But I did manage to win that game in the end by doing a I think I went Kyogre and Calyrex Ice, just cleared up Koraidon and Clefairy at the end. We traded Kyogre and Koraidon, and then Koraidon knocked out the Kyogre, and then Calyrex Ice just it knocked out Koraidon, and then Clefairy couldn't do anything. So I won game number 1, and then I predicted that he potentially could bring the Flutter Mane, just because I led with Urshifu, I believe, in the first game with Grimmsnarl. He didn't, and I went for a prediction with the Terra, but it didn't work. It's probably the best game I played though, because I had, in the end, it was Koraidon and his Rillaboom, both full HP against my +1. I think it was my it might have been neutral actually. I think it might have been +1 Calyrex Ice Rider, and I went for some reason he went for like a Flare Blitz into my what's it called, my Calyrex Ice Rider in the rain, even though it was like he could have easily just gone for Collision Course, but I went for Glacial Lance on the Rillaboom and Koraidon +1. It knocked the Koraidon out and left Rillaboom on 1 HP. Even said to me after the game, 1 HP Rillaboom, and ultimately he had speed and I was very low and he just knocked me out. And I had to really recover from that, because you're on the brink of winning and now you go into a third game which you didn't really deserve to lose. And he didn't even bring this Clefairy for the second game, but again it was a very tight game again, like all 3 of them were in this actually. And I went for, sorry, hold on, let me just go back. So I went for a close combat into his Terra Ghost. Well, not into the Ghost Terra. Well, it wasn't Ghost Terra. It just like regular Shadow Rider Calyrex, predicting a switch into Incineroar, which was Terra Water at the time, and he did. He switched into Incineroar. Close combat got him into the orange, but that ultimately was enough for my Rillaboom to 1v2 Shadow Rider and Incineroar, going for a Grassy Glide into the Incineroar, knocking it out, and then just clearing up the Shadow Rider. So I was quite pleased with that win. That got me 3-2. And then we had a little bit of like a technical difficulty in round 6, where we matched against our opponents. I played against a guy with Terrapaghost and Calyrex Shadow Rider, and we led. I think I led like a really good lead into it because he had Smeargle and Terrapaghost. I think I led like Rillaboom and Urshifu, and they said we had to change the pairings because someone dropped out. So I ended up playing a mirror match, Calyrex and Kyogre team, and I just didn't turn up really. I just didn't play very well. It was a very similar team, but I just think that Amoonguss, the first game I didn't play very well at all. I mean, I might have the notes for it, but the second game was a lot closer, and I probably should have won in the end, but for I think I missed a hydro pump into his Calyrex Ice Rider, would have probably knocked him out. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Trying to see here if I've got the notes on it. But yeah, it was a very good game. This guy was good. But I probably had a better matchup into the guy I would have played had the obviously the rounds not been messed up. I don't think I have to, but I did bring Raging Bolt to this, and he did quite well. He applied a lot of pressure to the Kyogre and Rapid Strike Urshifu, and I think I actually got a knockout from full HP onto the Ice Rider Calyrex with Terra Steel Terra Blast, so that was cool. I mean, see what this guy played. Yeah, plays me is what it is, I guess. But yeah. And then if we go on to the next game, now this guy Hengwei Zhang he finished third at the Birmingham Regionals, and I believe this win against me actually got him into the qualified for Worlds, and he had a very good team. He had because if you look here, yeah, I mean, oh my god, look at this guy! Wow. Anyways, yeah, I thought he played quite a lot of like Kyogre teams, but yeah, so he beat me. He had a good team though. Let's have a look at his team quickly. He used Incineroar very well in this game, and I read the team sheet wrong, because I thought his Urshifu was Choice Scarf, not Choice Band. So I left my Kyogre in, and it got one hit by close combat, which is rough. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about this game. I mean, let me grab the notes on it, if I do have notes on this game. But yeah, I mean, he was a good player. Obviously, he just got third at regionals in Birmingham, and he's been going to events for a long time. He said to me. So yeah, because like when we were on the plane, I think I saw him there, and he was just talking to me about it. So we got I mean, like, I think my team did okay overall. I mean, considering it wasn't, you know, one of the best sort of archetypes going into the tournament. But yeah, he had a very solid core with that Life Orb Miraidon, which was just doing massive damage with Draco Meteor. I don't think I can find the big notes for this. I mean, yeah, we'll just move on to round 8 then. I mean, yeah, I had a chance, and then I just come up against someone like that who's not had a great day, but was obviously a good player. So if we go over to this final game, I won this 2-0, and it was fairly comfortable. I maintained weather control quite well, and he wasn't really like going for like, I didn't really have to make any like hard reads. So I think he went for Rillaboom and Calyrex to lead, and I did the same thing that I did in round 1, where I went Urshifu lead with Grimmsnarl, and then I just swapped in the Kyogre and knocked out his Calyrex, and I think I went Terra Ghost because I think he went Fake Out into my Urshifu, and then he did a Sandsear Storm and Flare Blitz double up into my Ice Rider, and it survived. No, it might have been Collision Course, actually, excuse me. And I was like, wow, Calyrex Ice Rider, just really bulky. And I still actually, despite the Intimidate from Incineroar, which is a good play by him, I actually got that knockout into the Ice Rider. Yeah, this is a good game, I think. I mean, if we look at the matches, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, that overall was a tournament. If we can look at the guys that did, you know, extremely well here. If you look at their matches, I mean, yeah, this guy obviously he ended up, in fact, yeah, I mean, he ended up winning against some really good players. I believe this guy actually finished 4th in the tournament, you know, so, yeah. And if we go here, yeah, so, I mean, yeah, he lost to the eventual winner. And I gave him a decent game, to be fair. Nothing crazy, but yeah. So that was the team overall. 254 place. Gave me a few championship points, but yeah, for that regional, not terrible. We can go back over to sort of the win rate and things like that, but yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little documentary of my regional in Prague. And yeah, I want to try and make some more of these for sure, especially when Champions comes out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Keep playing, keep improving, and I'll see you guys in the next one.